In January 1923, newly elected Conservative Prime Minister Bonar Law dispatched Stanley Baldwin and Montague Norman to Washington. Their objective? Negotiate the funding of Britain's war debt. Freshly ousted former Liberal Prime Minister Lloyd George called the business transaction that occurred between Baldwin and U.S. Treasury Secretary Andrew Mellon, quote, in the nature of a negotiation between a weasel and its quarry, end quote. According to Lloyd George, the Treasury officials weren't exactly bluffing when they opened the conversation with their full demand. But they probably weren't expecting Baldwin to reply that the terms looked fair to him and accept them without any resistance. And now that Britain had agreed to such an exorbitant figure, it needed to raise those funds from somewhere, so it turned to its own debtors. To Lloyd George, this was the point of no return. If the US could get Britain to agree to pay so much, why not do the same to the other countries who owed it money? Lloyd George warned that the sore spot between the US and Europe caused by these debts was just the beginning. It would continue to fester into friction and resentment. But for all Lloyd George's predictions that the US wouldn't settle for any less than it had squeezed out of Britain, quite the opposite happened. The US agreed to much better terms for the other European allies. Here's a breakdown of the payments of 5 countries compared, including the country-funded debt, interest rate, and what its total payments would come in at in 62 years. In total, Britain would be paying more than $11 billion, more than double its original debt. This was due to the fact that it had agreed to such a high interest rate, 3.3%, nearly double that of Belgium, and more than double that of France, Italy, and Yugoslavia. Though Poland, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Estonia, Finland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Hungary were all charged the same interest rate as Britain, 3.3%, for their arms purchases. Thanks for watching this episode of this series breaking down Super Imperialism, the Economic Strategy of American Empire, by economist and Professor Michael Hudson. To find out more, I highly recommend checking out Professor Hudson's book. Stay tuned for episode 29.